Hello, curious ones, and welcome to Route 37 Podcast, the podcast of many topics. My name is Jen, and I'm here with Daisy, like Stacy, but with a D.
That's right.
How are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. Well, let me start out to tell you that this is a show about taking everybody on a winding ride about my stories and other people's stories. So let's get into your story a little bit, shall we?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, perfect. So why did you want to sit with me today?
Because, I randomly met you last week, and I was
But before that, how did you find me?
I was stalking you because I wanted to see if you were hiring.
It'd be a great place to work, wouldn't it, if I could afford a staff? Yeah.
This is exactly what I was looking for.
If I could get out and have somebody run the store, I would hire you to run the store. I wouldn't probably, well, let's not put that in the universe. I would pay you top pay because I think, everybody deserves that and nobody's getting it. So that makes me sad.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So we were touching upon your story of how you met your significant other.
Yeah.
And what's his name? Handlebar mustache?
Connor.
Connor, okay.
Like last September, I was up here painting a mural over in Holland, and he was pouring some concrete underneath the mural, and he thought I was cute.
Aww. So he took the initiative to come and talk to you? Or was it the other way around?
To yell out the window, actually.
He catcalled you out a window?
Mm-hmm.
He sure did, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And you went running?
Yeah. Then he got my number and took me on 2 dates before I left back to go to college in Nebraska. And we did long distance until December, so like just a couple months later. And then he moved to Nebraska with my family to work.
Wow, that was pretty brave.
Pretty manly, yeah.
Wow. So you were here on a commission job doing a mural from Nebraska?
Yeah, with my mom.
Wow, that's cool. What did you paint in Holland?
It was on Res Life Church, and it was like a beach scene with the pier, the red lighthouse, and some sand dunes. There's a picture of Jesus and a dove in the air over on the left side, and then over on the right side is that scenery. And it kind of fades from the beach scene into a tulip field with the windmills at the top. It took about 2 weeks. We had some volunteers locally that just lived in the apartment complex across the street that helped us out with some flowers and stuff like that. But yeah.
How did you get the job? Did you have to bid for it?
We did, but it was a family member of ours.
Gotcha. So it was kind of somebody you knew local?
Mm-hmm.
I wondered how you got a gig from Nebraska to come all the way up here to paint a church.
I have family up here.
Yep. So are you religious?
Yes.
Are you really?
Yeah.
And you're still a conspiracy theorist?
Yes.
That's interesting. So
controversial, yeah.
It kind of is. Because I don't believe in organized religion. I don't believe in any organized anything. Pretty sovereign. So it surprises me that you know so much about conspiracy theories, but yet you can subscribe to the story of. Are you like traditional? Believe in the story of Jesus and?
I'm just a non-denominational Christian.
Gotcha. Yeah. What would you say your biggest benefit of being a Christian is?
I think it gives me. I always have something to go back to when I'm feeling like anxious or stressed, or like the Bible is literally a book of instructions. Yeah,
and faith.
Keep you in hope and keep you in faith.
How's it working for you?
Good. It's a journey for sure for everyone.
Who would you count on if you didn't have somebody outside of yourself to count on?
What do you mean?
So, like, I'm assuming you pray, like when things get bad and you turn to God. So what if there wasn't a God and say you were the God that you had to save yourself? How would you feel?
I don't know how I would feel.
More lost than you feel now?
Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong with having, any of that. It's just, who do you think's coming to save you?
Well, I believe in the book of Revelation that, like, the second coming of the Lord.
When do you think that's going to happen?
Well, there's prophecies that, like, are proven to lead up to that point.
What's the proof?
Where? What do you mean? In the Bible?
Exactly, yeah. Where's the proof?
In the Bible, in the book of Revelation.
That's not proof. Just because it's in the Bible, that it doesn't say. I can see how they can act out revelations in the Bible in certain, which I kind of think they are in a lot of ways. So, what do you feel like? Do you feel like you have to be prepared for that day? And do you feel like you're prepared for that day when the second coming?
Well, that's a common belief, yes. And personally, that's just a personal journey of mine. That's just ongoing.
So your personal journey is to have a relationship with God?
Yeah, to walk
Oh,
more in faith,
what does that look like?
being morally correct in your choices and what aligns with what the Bible says is correct.
What do you do daily that aligns with the Bible?
Praying?
Every day?
Yeah.
So give me an example of a prayer. So because I kind of know a little bit about your story and
Okay.
your struggle. So in your prayers, are you constantly asking for something?
No. For example, like praying for your food, just blessing the
Okay.
food.
So you bless your food that you eat.
Mhm.
There's nothing wrong with that. I think we all should be energetically connected to the food that we put in our body. I think a lot of people don't understand, especially when you're eating out at a restaurant. If you're somebody that's just hates their fucking life and is making your food, how energetically connected that is once you put it into your body.
Mhm.
Would be fair, right?
Yeah.
So, in your relationship with God, where has it taken you? Like, give me an example. Like you've been down and you feel like your prayers were answered.
Like I would say my first year of college was pretty horrible. Um I don't know if maybe we talked about that the last
I don't
time.
think so. We covered a lot of ground though last time, didn't
Yeah,
we?
we
We
did.
should have been on the microphone.
Yeah, seriously,
Mm-hmm.
we should have stuck the mics on.
Mm-hmm.
Um but my first year of college was like horrible, from shitty roommate to another
Mm.
shitty roommate to another shitty roommate.
That has
Anyway,
to be extremely tough. My daughter has gone through that a couple times. How can you to be expected to learn in that environment if you're with in a house full of mates that don't want to mate?
it's difficult.
Yeah,
It's difficult. And even it's
especially with women
yeah, even now.
because they're cruel. Yeah, I'm sad that you're going through that now, and you
Yeah, not
gotta.
even not in college.
Yeah, right.
No improvement.
Yeah, and
It's
you're not living in the best of neighborhoods. So I
mhm.
feel like that's a stressor in itself. Even if you did get along with your roommate, I feel like that would still be a.
Yeah, we did. We were all right until Wi-Fi was an issue. But before that, we were
You
just
had
both
mentioned,
concerned about the area.
right.
Um,
Well, she obviously lived there before you.
just for a little bit. She
Yeah.
hadn't even unpacked her stuff yet. She was
Oh,
new.
so she was relatively new
Yep.
too. Yikes. Is she from here?
I don't even know her backstory.
Wow.
I think
It
so.
has to be really hard to move in with a stranger.
I mean, I feel like I'm sociable enough to be
Yeah, you definitely are.
like, I've lived with anyone, and I can strike
For being,
conversation
yeah,
here and
for
there.
20, yeah, you're good at that.
But it wasn't reciprocated at all. So
Oh, I see. That had to been tough. Still must be tough.
Yeah, it's ongoing.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and that can be very stressful.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, when you're young. Yikes.
20.
If I was your mother, my heart's tearing up for you now. Like, I want to help. And I don't have a pot to piss in either. Otherwise, because I would love to own a house, because I would definitely, like, if a sorority house, I would be a good sorority mom where you just, big house full of, gals that need a place to go while they're figuring stuff out.
Yeah.
Mm. So when you get kind of fearful, what is your number one thing other than prayer that you would turn to?
Breathing exercises
Nice.
they really help with anxiety.
Do you meditate? Or is that against?
It's not against.
Mm.
I just I I don't even have a peaceful environment that I'm living in right now, so it's kind of hard to do that
Well,
at this
I
very
read
moment.
once by Eckhart Tolle that one intentional breath in and out is meditation. So a conscious breath in and a conscious breath out is meditation. And, a lot of people get bogged down like, I don't got time. And, it's really just being conscious about centering
Mm-hmm.
and then being okay in that center, or aligning with, acting as if you've already achieved what you're wanting. So if you can be confident and act like I've already received it, and then just go about your day trusting, kind of no different than how you trust in the Lord, that you've prayed about it, and then it's just about trusting it and waiting for it to come to you.
Yeah.
It's easier said than done, though, isn't it? Yeah. So where do you want to go from here? Like,
Well,
not just in the podcast, just like, I know you're looking for a job and your housing right now isn't as positive as you would like it. So what if you were like, you could write down like, Lord, I want these four things and I want them within 37 days. What would they be?
37, so specific. Okay.
Yeah, it's my number.
Okay.
It's the podcast name, so it's got to
that's
be
right,
37,
right.
yeah.
Okay. Probably to score this job at Hilton that I'm trying to pull.
And what would that be doing at Hilton?
I would like just to be at the front desk.
Oh, how fun.
I was told by Connor's mom that I would be really a good fit for hospitality management, so
You really would be. I see that about you.
I would like to try it out.
Mm-hmm.
I have only ever done stuff like retail,
which can be a
pain.
Yeah, it can be tough.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try it out. Probably for also this kind of some loopholes I'm trying to find in my lease, just for one of them to work, just so I can get out and just try to
Free
find
yourself
somewhere
from
else.
that situation.
Yeah.
Okay, number 3.
Number 3, I would say probably for some of like my ongoing like health battles with like my stomach and like food sensitivities and stuff like that. Love for those to just be healed up. I do stuff like intermittent fasting to get my body in like a more regular cycle, because it's kind of hard to even eat dinner at the same time every day these days. But
are you gluten intolerant or something?
It's not intolerant.
Or is it just stress? So that
it's both. Yeah. Stress, but
because stress is a mother.
I don't have any allergies. They're just like food sensitivities, and my body just gets really inflamed easily. So, yeah,
I can totally relate to that. Yeah,
it's very common. I'm not alone in
especially
this at
your
all.
age group now. My daughter has it, but I think it's really stress related. Do you think it would all go away if all your stresses went away?
Yeah, but very anxious all the time.
Mm-hmm. How do you cope with that?
Currently, not really making any efforts towards coping with that.
Just
I've
flying by
tried,
the seat of your pants, which causes more anxiety when you don't have much direction.
yeah,
Yeah, I totally get that. I wish
supposedly.
I could tell you that it goes away, and I'm much older than you. And yeah, wow, I feel for you because I feel for myself. Like it's scary. The unknown is scary, and we
Yeah,
live in a fear-based program that keeps us kind of stuck in that scarcity type thinking. So, what would number four be?
oh, I forgot there was a number 4.
Hmm.
Okay, you're gonna have to give me a second.
You got all the seconds you want. No rush.
I applied for debt relief for my student loan because I used my student loan to pay out an emergency lease. So I definitely, you know,
So,
yeah,
yeah, that's got to be even tougher that you have to pay on a student loan that you're
yeah.
not going to school for. Ouch.
Not this lease. I broke a lease in college.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, for
But you're not going to college right now.
I graduated college.
Oh, you graduated. Okay, so
That's
you
right.
got your degree.
That's right.
Oh, okay, good.
It was
And now you got to,
horrendous.
I
That
bet. And what
both
was your
years.
degree in?
Business, just general.
And how could you apply that degree in the Hilton job that you want?
Well, my degree encompasses like everything. So by the time I got to college, I had all my prerequisites done. So it was just all business courses for 2 straight years. Um, and I took customer service, which would be very applicable.
Mm-hmm.
Sales, also very applicable. A lot of human, personal
Mm-hmm.
um, interactions and stuff like that. I don't know if marketing and advertising would be
I think you definitely
helpful in what
would.
I might be doing.
Word of mouth is everything. So if
That's true.
you know, what Hilton are you trying to get into?
I was actually just got back. She just got back to me today, so I haven't applied yet.
Oh,
Doing
got
it
you.
this evening.
Which one would you like to see yourself at?
I don't even
Is there
know.
more than one?
I don't know.
Oh,
Me
I don't
neither.
know much
I haven't
about it
looked.
either. I mean,
But
there's some
I'm
big,
looking to relocate where I live. So
down where you're at right now.
yeah, if I
Oh,
can afford to just pay out this lease, it only puts me at like 1,200.
your lease is 1,200 a month.
No, it's 600. But if
Oh,
I
I
were to
see.
pay out until I think February, then
And be done with it,
be done with it. I've done it before, but it was just
but still live there, or pay it so you can get out of there.
I. My boyfriend doesn't even want me to sleep there.
I don't blame him.
Yeah,
You're not in the best part of GR.
no.
And if I was your mother, I would make you move out.
She's
Cause
highly recommending that I do.
yeah, not a good area, kiddo.
Really not.
No. So have you? I mean, there are a lot of other. So if the Hilton thing fell through, what would you try next?
Um, Depends. I've been trying to get jobs in my local area.
Like the Amway Grand.
Or what is it? Anway Grand.
Amway Grand is the big hotel downtown. There's several. JW Marriott. They're very high-end hotels
Mm-hmm.
that I feel like they're always hiring. I know I just read that Gun Lake Casino is hiring for a multitude of things
Mm-hmm.
that, whether it be gaming tables and certain other things. Some of them are tip, payment. And I do believe I think they do have healthcare attached to them.
Good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I need
And
that.
that's an Indian reservation type job, so that's not a bad gig from what I hear. I forgot to shut the radio off, I know.
Oh, I'm vibing with it. It's
Okay.
okay.
I don't know if we'll be able to have it playing in the background. I hope he can beep it out. Maybe I should shut it off. Or if I wonder if he can hear it. Ow.
So, did you have any Anything you wanted to bring up from our conversation from
No, do
when we
you? I
met?
love the fact that you have a lot of
I have a lot of
gut.
interest in your life.
Huh?
I said I have a lot of interest in your life
Why?
because
Is it my energy?
you're just intriguing.
Isn't that kind of funny?
It's cool.
It's kind of a blessing and a curse when I have that. But I've had it my whole life, so. And then my name's Jennifer Lopez, so it feels like, people still, kind of, and and I don't associate with anything famous because I think Holly Weird,
Holly
especially
Weird.
Holly Weird is dying, which thank God for that. I think idol worship and people that worship celebrities or sports figures, I know, makes me just cringe.
Yeah,
So,
same.
I wish I could tell you that I've got the best life ever because I really, you know, I've I have had some life experiences that I have not all been rosy and pleasurable, and it just makes you who you are. Especially as you get older. You're 22 years old.
I'm only 20.
Oh, 20? Oh, wow. You're my
My
daughter's age.
my roommate is 22.
Oh, okay. Sorry for that confusion, but wow, 20. So my youngest Isabel is 20 years old. And wow. You couldn't pay me to go back to 20.
I don't want to be here either.
No, I
I don't want to
know.
go forwards, but like
I
I
know we
also
just
don't
had said
definitely don't want to go
earlier
backwards.
that we were talking about politics a little bit. I hope it just burns to the ground. I mean, I don't want to be here anymore either. And that's extremely tough for my children to hear. I have a tree picked out
A tree?
to hang myself.
Jennifer.
No, I know, right? You're a 54-year-old white woman. If this tanks, I'm out. Bye. I mean, I have every penny built this from the ground up. And, hey, the economy's not that great. But however, the plant business has gone from 20 billion with a B and is projected to go to 28 billion with a B in the next 2 years. So I'm already looking at brokers to sell to get out.
You're selling this place.
Oh
You
yeah,
were
I've
telling
only
me about
built it
that.
to sell it.
Yeah, you were saying that.
Yeah.
When?
I hope really soon so I can focus on my podcast because I feel like purposefully I think that I would help more people doing this. Do you feel the energy here in
Yeah.
the space that I provide? So I
Oh, definitely.
feel
Most definitely.
like that would do more good than, and I'm not saying that my plant store doesn't do good, but I don't get paid to be here. And there's a lot of stresses that, come with that. And I've worked really hard and look what I've built in 1 year. I mean, I've done a lot, but I did it with the premise of I am building this to sell it, to double my money and to go on. I think podcasting will be my next creative venture because I'm a very creative person. So I feel like providing that space because I truly believe humanity and humans there's one thing that we all want, and it's to be seen and heard for who we are,
Yeah.
and not be judged for it. And I think we're heading into a season where you better be okay with people being different from you because, you got the trans movement, you have a lot of different movements, and we all can be a little bit sacrilegious and self righteous about our beliefs that are just programmings that you came with. It's something that like when I say I'm not a religious person. So if nobody told you that there was a God or the story of Jesus, what you know, what would you believe in?
So, if I was born and sheltered for my whole life, I would probably be confused. That's that's for sure, but like it depended on,
What would you be confused about?
Like, my beliefs are my beliefs because of how I was raised. Your beliefs are your beliefs because
I
how
was,
you were raised, but how what you've been through as well.
yeah,
Because
well, I was raised in a very Baptist home. My punishment was I had to memorize Bible verses.
see, this is very
So I
common
studied
religious
the
trauma.
Bible
Yeah.
and I know it's written in code. I know that it is, but see, I was also born a little bit special. So I was debating the differences between Santa Claus and Jesus with my dad at a very, very early age. Yeah.
I
So,
could
but
see
I
that.
also, the visions and things that I was given, thank goodness for my mother. My mother really kind of nurtured it, but like, don't tell anybody, don't say
Oh,
that stuff out
secrets
loud.
ours.
No, I'm on a freaking podcast. I mean, but I mean, as far as growing up, my mother was like, she didn't say, she didn't poo poo my dreams that, eventually came true or the imaginary friends that I had that were giving me well, knowledge that didn't even come close to making sense until COVID happened,
Yeah.
especially about immunization, certain things that I should not have known at a very early age that did not happen until way into the future. So when I don't get bogged down in religion because of that fact. Do I believe there's a higher power? Absolutely. I mean, but I also have come to believe that we're all creators. You make and create your own destiny. You are the creator of your own life. And that I believe in my research and studies that's the persona or Jesus wanted everybody to know, and that's what he was crucified for, is because he wanted everybody to know we're all the creator. You do, it's what manifestation is. The longer that you're bogged down in your negativity, the universe has no choice but to send you more negativity. It's your show. So if you can climb out of that, and I think because I've had certain life experiences that I guess you could say forced me into, okay, I gotta think, I gotta get myself out of this, or I never let anything get me down. If you can stay positive, which is such a thing to say, just stay positive, it'll be okay. And when you're in the thick of it, that's the last fucking thing you want to hear is just stay positive or pray on it. We all want an outcome immediately. We want our suffering to stop. So as a kid, I would be like, man, I don't know if I want to believe in that because you teach that, he's an all loving God. No, he's not. Or we wouldn't have all this suffering. We wouldn't have all this ickiness here. So I do believe we, create, like that train wreck that was just in here. That kind of stuff that, yeah,
Yeah.
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 So you have to find ways to get yourself up and out of it. And if your way is praying and believing in an outside power that gets you through, then that's your creation.
So let me ask you, where was like the pivotal point in your Baptist beliefs?
I didn't have any Baptist beliefs. I came here knowing it was all fucking lie.
Like came here as in was born?
Born knowing that even at a very young age that none of that makes sense to me. And the stories that are in the Bible, and especially because we weren't allowed to dance, listen to music, in certain other, aspects of that religion. And my dad was a hypocrite, so it just never sat well with my discernment, and the stories didn't make sense. So I was always questioning them. You know, certain things that happen in the Bible, especially thumbing through. Back in my day in the 70s, everybody had like a big coffee table Bible that was like this thick and had really depictive pictures in it of brimstone and fire and little cherub butt naked, angels and certain things. But the stories told at Sunday school, oh no, I'd be questioned like, that's not what. my imaginary friend, for a lack of a better word, because they weren't even like imaginary friends. It was like a knowing that I came here with. And it's never let me down. And it's been proved, especially the older I get, like, that solidified why I was either dreaming that or thought that as a child. Especially the vaccines. I was dreaming about those when I was a kid, going to my, mom. Like, and as an adult, when I had kids, I knew, like, it scared the hell out of me to have my kids have to have all these shots, so I would only give them the ones that were mandatory for them to go to school, but like all the elective ones, like, no, we're not doing that one. Like the Gardasil, all the, especially with my girls, like, no. So, but you're meant to look crazy when you think that way. So you kind of are, you don't say a whole lot of things out loud. And it wasn't until COVID did I start to be able to say things out loud, like, because with Facebook and other platforms, I was finding other people like me that knew history's a lie. It's all been a big fat fucking lie, all of it, all of it, and we're seeing it in real time now.
Like, give me some examples.
Of the lie. Anything
Like,
in
let's
anything
say,
in your
like,
history book.
yeah, like, let's say, like, what they teach, like, basic American public school curriculum, what they teach kids for, like, about the United States. Like, what about the upcoming of what they've been teaching kids about this country has been false.
Oh, let me see. Being Native American Indian, the Christopher Columbus story, number one. Coming here,
I could
enforcing
see that.
Indians to, Christianity, enforcing them off their land, but making it this big happy story, and you had a big Thanksgiving dinner. Lies. And you can't. Can you date even further back? You are trusting people that have no idea. It's a story that's been told over and over, kind of like the Bible. There's stories that have been told over and over and over. You ever hear the telephone game? And then when you get to the end of the telephone game, it's never the same story or information that originally started out as. So, yeah, I don't believe any of it. And Santa Claus would be my first prime example of something that you're programmed with, immediately, because not every kid grows up in a religious home, but they surely know about Santa Claus. And if you research Christmas and the pagan origins of, it's about pedophilia. It is not about what we think it is and what we celebrate, but everything is a ritual. And we have been programmed to fall in line with these rituals that whoever the higher power is, feed off your loosh from a fear-based programming. Because wouldn't you be fair to say, even religion is fear-based? Better get it right or you're going to hell. Better get it right in school or you're going to fail. Better get it right in life or you're out. Everything, it's all fear-based programming. They need you to be afraid. Because you know how powerful you would be if you were a sovereign being and knew what a creator you were? They wouldn't be able to rule you. If you knew how to use your power to manifest, you wouldn't be a slave. You wouldn't be looking for a job. You wouldn't need one. You would be a part of this whole, a community where everybody played their part and everybody had enough to eat, everybody had a place to live, everybody had what they needed. They can't have that. Not with a fear-based programming, you can't. They need you afraid. That's why we're where we're at today, is because everybody fell in line with their specific program. And any religion teaches it. It's all fear. Better get it right. You're not going to see the big guy. But the minute you're sovereign, you're crazy. And then they'll lambaste you for that. Because they don't want you to know how powerful you are as a singular being. And imagine how powerful you are as a singular being, and then you found like-minded people like you that could co-create with you, imagine the empire you could build on just your thought processes alone of wanting good for everybody. I want everybody to succeed. I don't want anybody to be living in fear. I don't want anybody struggling day in and day out. And like me, like you, we just talked about it. I could care less if this fucking thing burns down to the ground. I hope it happens. Let's start over. But I hope the next, that lands here understand that you're a sovereign being and build from that. Because right now I can tell you fear-based programming ain't doing a whole lot for us. It's doing a lot for whoever's profiting from it. Look at where all the places where fear profits from. Medicine, pharmacia, pharmacy. They need people stuck on pills. Imagine if you were the ruler and you've got all these people bamboozled into thinking they need all these pills. And we quit growing our own food, so we're depending on, our government and subsidies and all sorts of things for our food because you've now don't know how to do it. We're like how many 3 generations deep of people we don't know how to grow our own food.
Don't you think they're trying to not allow people to do that?
I know they're not. But there's a reason why, because they want you dependent, slave. They need you dependent on them so they can rip the carpet away from you. Oh, you want your pills today? Better do what I say. Research how China is right now.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Already.
We're well on our way. In these little smart cities that are going to be cropping up, you can't leave your 5-mile radius and you'll have to earn to be able to go see your parents. That's where your generation is headed. If somebody doesn't stand the fuck up and say, no, I'm not doing this anymore. Even if it's a small community, say you and your boyfriend find some farmland and you get some great friends. I would start building your own community and then not leave it. You'll have your own food. You won't have to worry about your children's programming and raise them as you see fit. But the minute that they're indoctrinated in this society's way of doing things, you're fucked.
Yeah.
You're fucked. But that fuckery has been passed down from generation to generation to generation. That's how they keep getting away with it. So when do you stand up? When do you say, no, I'm no longer going to be a slave? It's kind of hard in where we're at right now, wouldn't you say? I think they've done exactly what they needed to do. It's scary.
Yeah.
That's why I've got a tree picked out. Like, I'm going to go out on my terms. It's not going to be, and you got 24 hours to bury me. You're not putting me in a fucking box in a cemetery. And there are like cemeteries, for example, like I tell my son, you got 24 hours to bury me on your property and file for a cemetery permit. You don't have to pay a mortgage the rest of your life because your loved ones, that's why they don't, back in the day where, they had loved ones didn't stray too far away from their moms and dads. They kind of all lived on the same land, farmed the same land. Well, there was perks to that. Well, that's why, they attacked the family unit, the mom and dad. How many, especially now, how many in my generation really can you say been married or will be married 60 years? They definitely don't want the family unit to be strong. Because if you're a strong family and, can provide for yourself, you're not in their control and they can't have that because they're feeding off your fear. This whole realm runs off fear and sex magic. Period. 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 And nobody's even talking about it, really. I mean, they are talking about it, but everybody's so dispersed and so far away from one another. People have to be on, even if you watch, let's back up. You said you don't need Wi-Fi because you don't have any devices? So are you on internet or any socials? Do your kids
I'm
even do Facebook? What do you do? Instagram?
Instagram, but
Yeah.
I'm on my family's phone plan of unlimited data, so I don't
Oh, so
really
you don't need Wi-Fi. So, but you
no.
do pay attention to like Facebook and the socials.
For the most part, I know what's going on, but I'm not really mainstream social media.
So you would say you would get your news from.
Probably my family,
Mm.
probably. I
So what
yeah, I
brought
tend to
you? You obviously know a little. You obviously are a wee bit of a critical thinker because you have some conspiracy theory based idealism within you.
yes,
So where was that? Where was that imprinted on you?
being
Like
open-minded and just kind of
just being observant? Because
observant,
I'm
open to like what other people see and what their opinions are, and
because
kind
I'm
of
all
like
about pattern.
finding
Yeah,
finding where
pattern.
I lie and where what everyone else.
Do you feel like though it's a discernment thing? Like, wow, I believe this because it here is affecting me. Wow, we made it to 37 minutes. 333. I
Nice.
know, right? So information downloads for you. Do you discern it like, that's a lie, or that could be plausible, or you know, and this isn't counting your programming because I don't feel like, especially religious programming or programming that was passed down from one generation to another, because back in the day you'd been burned at the stake for having, an opposite thought from the church. So you're thinking of conspiracy theories. What is the biggest conspiracy theory that you feel like the strongest in your gut is like, I totally believe that's true?
Probably what's going on with like the sex trafficking rings and like the kids going missing and Hollywood and all that stuff.
So how deep have you dug? Because that goes back so far. When I tell you this realm runs on sex magic and the sodomy and abuse of children is where they get their loosh from, their magical ritual powers. It's always been that way. And the Vatican, Catholics, it is religion based as well. So you're non denominational, but the Vatican, with all the priests and touching little kids, there's a few more rabbit holes you might want to go down because it's scary. It's scary, but there's a reason why they're taking those children. There's an apartment upstairs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
God,
And there's
I'm
ghosts
like,
here.
oh, great, they're coming for me now for talking about this.
Oh no, I'm on an FBI list. You should be fine.
What does that mean?
I'm pretty sure if you have thoughts outside of the norm, we're being watched 24/7. That's what your phone, everything.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna ride it till the wheels fall off. I don't really care at this point. I'm not going to
That's a good way
try.
to put it.
Yeah. What else can you do?
Nothing really.
You can't. So why not? I mean, if I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna go out trying to make people think. And I'm not sitting here saying I know everything because I don't. But the one thing I do know is I'm going to think broader than what they've, programmed me to think. And obviously I'm sure I know there's many more. Social media, thank goodness for that, where it allowed me to feel less crazy, where I could feel like I could say this type of shit out loud, because if it didn't, I'd be still like, yeah, better not. I've also had a near death experience where, and here's my near death experience.
Yeah, tell us
My
about it.
What's that?
Tell us about it.
Yeah. So my near death experience, my profound message is I'm like begging God, like, okay, just let me live and I'll do X, Y, and Z. What do you want me to do? And clear as day, my message is no more TV and no more Oprah. I'm like, really? I'm fucking dying. And that's my clear as a bell message in the middle of the night, laying in a hospital room on Christmas Eve, no less, away from my kids. First Christmas that I ever missed with my children. Only Christmas. And I'm like, really? That's it? And it wasn't until many years later did I understand that message of, and I did. I quit watching TV and I quit Oprah, cold fucking turkey. But you'll watch what's going to happen with Oprah and the P. Diddy thing and the sex trafficking that you're talking about, her mystery schools and her little schools that, they were all hubs for all that shit to happen for the elites to buy children and harvest them for anachrome, adrenochrome, whatever, their blood. But they have to suffer first, so they're full of, you know,
Terror.
yeah, in order for it to work, so they can stay forever young. That's nothing new. That this whole realm is built on that. This is really creepy, and it's sad that they destroyed, utopias and people that learn to live on their own, in their own little communities because they can't have that. You've got to live under one God, one rule. That's how they continue the cycle over and over and over. Now, I think I might have it licked where I won't be reincarnated back. I'm not going towards the light. I'll be going to the darkness. I feel like I won't be tricked by my dead parents. Because that's all, a mental film reel in your head. That's how they get you to go to the light, to come right back to this fucking shithole. No. I think I'll level up and maybe go to the next realm the next time. Because I think my job possibly will be done this trip. I don't know for a fact, but I would really like it if it was done now. Because I don't like being here. I know I don't belong here. I never have, ever. And I think you could kind of identify with that a little bit because you're at a very young age and you're already like, burn this fucker to the ground. I don't even care. Now, at 20, I'd have been like, no, so I've had to have my own life experiences. You kids are growing up way faster. I wish everybody could experience, like the 80s. It was just a simpler time. There was no internet. You were just kind of oblivious to all the things, which kind of was bliss in a way.
But that's when it was all starting.
No, it's been around for a long time. It wasn't all starting then. But it was starting to be more known, in mainstream. But Hollywood, it's all bred in circuses, sports, idol worship. I think one of the best things that my dad, in his religion base, taught me was you don't put any idols before your own. You don't worship anything outside of yourself. And people worship food, they worship beings, they worship a God that they have no clue, a God that, let's face it, doesn't help everybody. In how many prayers, if I were to have taken the Bible literally as a kid, I would think like all I had to do was pray and Jesus was going to help me out. God was going to make sure that that happened for me. How many times have that been proved wrong for me? Too many to count. Now, manifestation and coming into my own and understanding how energy works and how frequency, and you have to, the universe has no choice but to align you with the frequency that you're constantly on. It's like a radio station. You tune it in, like if you're constantly having strife and it's like, oh man, my life sucks. Yeah, the universe is just going to give you more things to tell you that, yeah, your life sucks. So if you can find your way, but that's the things they don't want you to know about how this realm works. And have I mastered it? No, because I get bogged down in fears. I get bogged down in self-doubt and like, but 9 times out of 10, I'm the one that got myself from my own thinking and my own perspectives. It wasn't Jesus saved me. It wasn't God did it. It was me, myself, and I. This one. Because if you're blind here, you're fucked. And because you're seeing things that are outside, you have friends that'll be like, no, chemtrails aren't real. Or or is your generation mostly like, yeah, we're fucked?
I think everybody knows that we're going for a rapid decline. That's why my generation's just
Mm.
like, we have no hope. You guys are really painting our future out to be pretty shitty either way. So how you can't
I
expect.
don't think that, I think that you have to figure out a way to break free from all your programming, all your indoctrinations. Like, are you as a whole, as your generation, strong enough? Mine wasn't, obviously. And they're still not. You know, they're like, oh, Trump, Harris. You know, they're just like so rigid in their belief system. I am not the norm. I don't think in my community where I grew up. Definitely not. Do I believe there are others like me? Absolutely. But we're also placed far apart. Well played, universe. You know, where you're so far apart in different continents. How can you come together as a community to be one? You know, when you're so far apart. And I can't even imagine being 20 years old and not having hope. When I was 20, I'm going to have the white picket fence. I'm going to have the babies after art school, of course. And then, you know, I didn't go to art school, but I had the white picket fence, you know, which just because how I grew up, my mom was a housewife, and it's just like, I want you to be able to learn how to cook and clean, you know, the gender role very strong, where the man goes to goes to work, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that particular idealism. I think it would be phenomenal if we got back to a place where the man is the man and he's the provider, and women, you know, are held in a higher regard, whether birthing, taking care of the home. I think we would flow better, like say maybe how the 50s went, you know. I don't think your generation will ever experience that, which makes me sad because I'm hoping that you get it. Now, do you as a woman at 20 and you have a boyfriend hope for that type of life where you have the white picket fence and no?
No, my ideal is dropping off the grid.
But is it something that you wanted?
Like, well, what do you mean? Like,
Like to
paint the
have a
picture of
home
perfect.
and
Yeah,
you
to have a
know,
home, to have kids, to raise
yeah,
my kids.
but not to be anxious all the fucking time about it. Have it in a
No,
full-fledged life that you're building, you and your husband and your children, your own little community,
that was how my family
family.
was
Yeah,
raised
mine
until we
too.
bought a business.
Hmm.
And that's just about
And then
where
it
that ended.
falls apart,
Yep,
right?
it
Yeah,
does.
and you watched it fall apart.
Yep.
Your parents are still together though?
Yeah.
Oh, see, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're
Mm,
going through a lot of stress right now, which is tough.
yeah, definitely. But
My mom died when I was 29.
really,
Hmm.
unexpectedly.
No, she had cancer.
Mm,
Yeah. So I would never, the medical field. I remember when after her first surgery, the regret on her face for letting them open her up because then it just spread everywhere. So I don't believe in modern medicine either. They tried to kill me once, and so no, I'm good with that too.
yep.
I'll heal myself with fasting and everything but going to the doctor. And like my kids know, if I were to ever, which I won't because I won't go to the doctor, but if I were to ever get the C word diagnosis, I wouldn't do anything. I wouldn't do anything to prolong my life. You know, I would try to heal myself holistically for sure. But I'm certainly not going to rely on modern medicine to speed that process up for me. Because chemo's
Because they
poison.
make things that make you uncomfortable to make you need to buy medicine, and it's just all money generated. And
Yeah, it's greed.
yep,
All of it.
all of it.
All of it. Sex and magic. That's it. So I don't want this podcast to be all doom and gloom, but it's real and raw. So, but if you moving forward, say you got the job, you landed that job, and all the four things that I asked you that you wanted, and you got them because you were diligent and you kept, just for lack, because this is how you believe, because you prayed upon it and you believe that the Lord gave it to you. How would your life look after that? Would it solidify your belief system more? Would it be a testimony for you?
It could be, just depending on how, that folds out. I believe everything happens for a reason. Everything is not, in the timing of my choice. So
If everything happens for a reason, what's the reason why in your life it's happening right
I
now?
don't know yet. I
But
have
you do believe
not
that there's a
yet to
lesson at
figure
the
it
end of
out.
it.
Yes, I do.
That's fair.